They told you that feeling too much makes you weak, that being strong means never breaking, never shaking, never crying. But what if I told you that idea is what's keeping you stuck? Stuck in relationships that drain you, stuck in silence that suffocates you, stuck in pain that doesn't even belong to you anymore, but still runs your life. The truth is, no one ever taught you how to truly protect yourself. They taught you to swallow it down, to stay quiet, to endure. But they never taught you how to build strength from the inside out. And that's exactly what you're about to learn, because your healing isn't in someone else's hands, it's in yours. And maybe, just maybe, what you need is to hear this all the way through. Because after today, nothing and no one will ever hurt you the same way again. You know that moment when everything's falling apart inside, but you still have to smile on the outside. Emotional resilience isn't about ignoring pain. It's about learning how to move with it. The goal isn't to become unshakable. It's to become someone who rises again and again. Carl Jung taught us that avoiding emotional pain only gives it power. What you avoid controls you. What you face frees you. Inner strength doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in the tension no one else sees. There is no resilience without confrontation, and no confrontation without self-knowledge. Building resilience is like training a muscle no one sees, but one that holds everything together. And here's the twist. Most people wait for the day they stop feeling pain, without realizing it's the feeling that creates the growth. Like when you finally say no to something that sees draining you, your brain panics at first. But that's when the strengthening begins. Just like soreness after a workout. You can start small, a tough conversation, a new boundary, a moment of stillness. These tiny decisions shape your strongest self. Many people think resilience is something you're born with. Not true. It's something you build, day by day, doubt by doubt, scar by scar. Every time you choose not to snap in anger or sit with your sadness instead of running from it, you're strengthening something deep inside. Jung said, "What we deny submits us." Real resilience starts with honesty. Try this. Write what you're feeling each night. No edits, no filter. It's private, but your unconscious will notice, and the healing begins. Resilience isn't silent suffering. That's just resistance in disguise. At some point, being too strong becomes self-betrayal. You confuse being cold with being in control. But real emotional strength lives between protection and vulnerability. Falling apart doesn't mean you failed. It means you're still human. You can start small. Breathe. Not to escape the pain, but to move through it. Because that's the only way to the other side. And eventually, you'll notice something strange. The things that used to break you, they just don't anymore. Not because the world got easier, but because you got wiser, more whole. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the path of self-knowledge begins to take over. Ever felt like you're playing a role just to meet everyone else's expectations? Real self-knowledge begins the moment you stop asking, "What do they want from me?" and start asking, "Who am I when no one's watching?" Sounds simple. It's not. Most people are terrified to look in the mirror of their own soul. Jung called it confronting the shadow, the parts of you that hide, that you repress, deny, or ignore. But that's where your power lives. Because without that inner dive, you'll just keep reacting to life through wounds you don't understand. Knowing yourself isn't just about discovering your strengths. It's about owning your contradictions. That critical inner voice that tells you you're not enough. It probably comes from a past you never questioned. That perfectionism you carry, it might be fear of rejection in disguise. Take 10 minutes each day to write, uncensored. Let the truth pour out. No judgment. Because your unconscious doesn't scream, it whispers. And if you don't listen, it finds other ways to get your attention. Self-knowledge has to be lived, not just understood. Try observing yourself in moments of stress. What triggers you? What soothes you? Make 2 lists. One with what drains you, another with what restores you. Right there is a map of your emotional patterns, more valuable than any outside advice. No one knows your limits better than you. You just have to start listening. That kind of self-awareness reshapes how you live, love, and lead. But be careful. Self-knowledge isn't selfishness, it's responsibility. Because the more you understand yourself, the less you bleed on people who didn't cut you. Less blame, less projection, more truth. You stop trying to fix people to fix your own pain. And here's the magic. When you're grounded in who you are, you begin to attract people who speak the same soul language. Because energy never lies. And when you own your shadow, you radiate more than any polished version ever could. And maybe in that deep dive, you begin to see something you never saw before. The pain you've carried for years? It was never yours to keep. It was inherited, taught, conditioned. And now, it's time to let it go. That's the next step. They say time heals all wounds, but it doesn't, right? Time just moves forward. You're the one who heals. Emotional pain doesn't fade because the clock ticked. It fades because you learned the lesson. Jung taught that pain must be integrated, not buried. Think of it like a wound. Ignore it, and it gets infected. Heal it, and it becomes a scar, a sign you survived. Healing begins the moment you stop pretending you're fine. And that takes guts. Saying, "I'm hurt," feels weak, but it's the strongest thing you can do. Healing isn't forgetting. It's remembering without the same sharp pain. And that takes process. Sometimes therapy, sometimes writing, sometimes talking to someone who really listens. But always, always, courage. You'll have to revisit the hurt, see the inner child, the abandoned adult, the quiet screams. But here's the truth. You don't have to do it alone. Support is wisdom, not weakness. Even a book, like The Body Keeps the Score, can open doors to places you've locked away. There's a moment in pain where you believe you'll never laugh again, never feel light. But look closely. Life leaves clues. A song that softens you, a sky that stops you, a laugh that escapes, unplanned. Follow those threads. They'll lead you back, slowly, gently. Your pain won't vanish, but it'll lose its grip. That's emotional healing. Not an overnight fix, but a reclaiming of space inside you. Overcoming pain isn't returning to who you were. It's being reborn, with scars that tell the story. A story of survival, yes, but also of becoming. Every time you choose not to shut down, but to transform, something shifts. You realize you're not broken, you're in process. And process means growth. Try creating a healing ritual. Light a candle. Meditate. Walk in nature. Listen to your breath. It's symbolic, but it works. Because your system needs a signal that you're no longer hiding. And when that happens, something inside loosens. The pain doesn't define you anymore. You stop clinging. You start freeing. And that freedom, it begins with learning how to stop depending on others to feel whole. That's the next layer. Most people live like their peace depends on someone else, and that's dangerous. Because when your balance depends on others, every absence feels like collapse. Emotional independence starts when you realize this. The only person guaranteed to stay with you forever is you. That's not selfishness, it's maturity. Carl Jung taught that power isn't about controlling the world. It's about not being controlled by it. And that includes people's opinions, behaviors, and absences. Think about the last time you felt rejected. What hurt more, their action, or what you told yourself because of it? Often, What destroys us isn't what happens. It's the inner story we replay afterward. But when you learn to validate yourself, care for yourself, and listen to yourself, everything changes. Try this. Write 3 things you wish someone would say to you, then say them to yourself. It sounds strange, but your subconscious listens, and that's how new emotional roots start growing. Independence shows up in daily choices, saying no without guilt, choosing silence over explanation, walking away from people who don't choose you. That S where you realize your peace has a price, and it's not up for negotiation. It doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means making space for what's real. Relationships that are soft, conversations that are light, moments that feel safe. And it all starts when you stop outsourcing your stability. Of course, we need connection. We need love. But needing isn't the same as depending. Dependency creates anxiety. Connection creates freedom. And real connection only happens when 2 whole people meet. That's why emotional independence is the greatest gift you can give yourself, and others too. When you're okay with yourself, no one else has to carry the weight of your happiness. That's freedom, and it feels unshakable. And maybe, just maybe, once you feel that, everything else in your life starts falling into place. The past stops haunting you. The present becomes lighter. The future feels possible. Because once you're free inside, even silence starts to feel like peace. So now tell me, will you keep letting the past dictate who you are? Or will you finally start listening to yourself, without fear, without filters? Because what you've learned here today, it's not just inspiring, it's actionable. Will you actually apply it? Will you write down what you feel? Say no when your soul says stop? Draw a line where you used to stay quiet? Your transformation starts with 1 step. Just 1. And that step can happen right now. So tell me, what part of this message hit you the hardest? What will you apply first? And if you felt this video spoke directly to you, if it touched something inside no one else could, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and stay with me. Because this is just the beginning.